precocious beauty? As McNair surveys the situation, here's McNair playing his trump card. McNair fired a third quarter in 27 flat, but Lady Shadow.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday edition of Woodbine Racing Live. Yes, I'm Chad. He's Doug. As Kenny promised, we've got him on the show here, our leading driver, big time right now. Welcome to the program, buddy. I know it's a busy night for you, so I appreciate you taking the time, but I think it's the least you can do because you take my money in the golf course, right?
Once in a while, yeah. If you don't get it past the ladies' tee, it really helps me.
Well, yeah. Anyway, we won't talk about that. What we will talk about is your fast start here in 2020, and you're just driving, I don't like a guy possessed. I'll put it that way, just a guy on a mission. I even saw in a press release there, Phil Hudon just saying you're just white hot, basically. I mean, and there's a lot of guys out there that are saying that, and they see that. But I'm going to rhyme this off to you, okay? 180 wins on the top circuit and more than $4.7 million in earnings. Those were your numbers last year. Those are numbers that a lot of people would be satisfied with. I know you not satisfied with that.
Yeah, I didn't have a huge year last year. I made some mistakes on and off the track. I mean, I was off January, and then I was off for another 6 weeks in November, part of December. So, I mean, I made a few mistakes, and I'm just happy to be back on the right track.
And how much did having an off year like that, a year you're not used to having, drive you to have a big 2020, but to get off to the fast start that you're off to here?
Well, obviously anybody loves getting off to a fast start like that, but I mean, when I was on vacation there, I wasn't racing. It drives you more to be better and try to get them more involved and win races. And that's kind of what I'm here to do, and I'm off to a great start. And
as we see here with the standings, this is we're just early February. We know it's early. You know it's early, and there's a lot of racing to go, but it's always nice to jump out. And get you know yourself, you've played some catch-up in the past. When a guy gets out there on top, it is tough because, as you know, when you're getting the wins and you're driving well, you can keep that going.
Yeah, well, like you said, it kind of rolls like a snowball, when you get rolling like that. Everybody wants to use you, and that's what you need to be one of the leading drivers. You need to drive for all the guys, not just the top guys, but any small-time guys that bring good live horses in here. You just want to get listed on them first or back up on them. So if you get on the right horses, I mean that's definitely what's set me ahead of the rest of the guys this year. I've just been on live horses. That really helps.
And you're a believer in momentum, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Just when things going well, it just sort of as you talk about it, just snowballs and you just kind of ride that wave.
Yeah, because when it goes bad, I mean, there's been times where you feel like you forget how to drive. When things are going bad, things don't work out. But just right now, things are working out, and the seams are opening up for me. And I mean, it's just the way it is. When you're on a good roll, things keep rolling.
Everybody else notices, of course, as we know. We've always thought of you as a top driver. You've been crowned top driver here, as we know. What do you do to prepare? Did you prepare any differently heading into this season? Let's say from a physical standpoint, a mental standpoint.
Well, I've actually been going to the gym the last couple of months quite a bit, a lot more than I have in the past, and I took a month off of drinking and stuff like that. So I mean, I'm just trying to focus more on racing and kind of block everything else out and just kind of focus on one thing. So I mean, I think that really helps when you're driving racehorses to stay in shape mentally and obviously physically too, because I really think weight makes a pretty good difference.
And I think a key word there that you mentioned multiple times already, focus.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, with the focus will come success.
Yeah, well, I hope so. It's just in live horses, I mean, with the kind of live horses I'm getting right now, it's pretty hard not to win races.
Now, this is the time of year where drivers will, take off for brief vacations. We know Trevor's gone right now, and I know Bob's going to be heading out. Jody was away.
Yeah.
When you're going like this, I don't know if you are planning on going away at all, but it'd be tough to even stop for a week and go away, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, I was in Florida last week, but I had a driver interference. I was off for a couple of days, but I said to my dad, I was down there, I said, I hope I don't see you for a while. I have no plans to take any more time off the rest of, hopefully the whole season.
What are your goals ultimately for this season? I mean, aside from just being, aiming to be the top driver here in our circuit.
Well, I mean, obviously, those big races.
Yep.
Like I'm just throwing some out, for instance, North American Cup races like that. You want to be involved in and maybe win them someday. So obviously, you want to get on the right horses, and it's obviously it would be great to be up there for the leading driver again.
Is there anything or any horse out there that maybe we haven't heard from yet because it's a 2-year-old that's training, or a 3-year-old coming back, or even an age horse that you're just really excited to drive this year?
Well, nothing really right off the top of the head. Like the past years, I've had like horses like Stay Hungry and Air Cash Hammer, horses like that coming back. Solar Sister, but Dad had a decent pacing filly last year. Karma Sealster, she had a good year, almost made $300,000. So hopefully she comes back. If she just comes back half decent, I think she can make a pretty good dollar.
And I mean, obviously you've got one of the most prominent owners in the sport in your corner, in Brad Grant, which I'm sure you're super grateful for. And along with him will come some good 2-year-olds. You got to be excited about that. Yeah,
obviously, a lot of his 2-year-olds start down in the States, so I usually don't get to first call on them, but sometimes you fall into them, and I'm just happy to drive. I think I won 3 races last Saturday. They're all Brad's horses. So when you're driving for the, like I said, the top owner in the last decade, I mean, you're gonna fall into winning some races.
How about some viewer questions? You want some of those? We've got some viewer questions, and happy to have it. We'll start with Tony Elliott, who's actually been a big advocate for Ontario. Do you know Tony? Because he's from Walkerton, born and raised.
No, I don't. My dad might know him. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just a young guy. He was actually, I caught him on the Raceway program there. But he says, when a driver's on a hot streak like you are, do they gain a new sense of confidence, or is it they feel they have an increased ability to make a horse go? Even statistically, they have a small chance to win that race.
Yeah, he's definitely right there, I think, or the question he's asking. I mean, you're going to win with horses that you probably wouldn't win with if you weren't rolling. Like you'll make some moves that you wouldn't make. Like if you're not driving hot horses, or good horses. I mean, when you get a good horse, you kind of get anxious with them and stuff. But if you're kind of on a bit of a roll, you can take your time more, sit back more, and that really helps when you're feeling relaxed. So I'm pretty sure the horses they can tell.
Next one here from a guy named Nick Ritchie. Says, who's your favorite
This will be a good one.
NHL hockey player? Yeah.
Geez, I don't know. Connor McDavid?
I can't blame you there.
No, I watch Nick Ritchie's a good buddy of mine. I watch mostly all, if not all, half or if not all his games. So, I like watching him play. I went to Ottawa to watch him play there last time. I don't think he's the most talented.
I think you were. Right. You were in Ottawa, weren't you?
I don't think he's the most talented player, but he tries hard.
Yeah. Is that a Nick Ritchie jersey?
That's a Ritchie jersey.
That's a Ritchie jersey.
It's one of the only ones they sold this year.
Did he make you pay for that?
I think he.
Oh, jeez. Good Lord. We've also got a question from our Brad A, actually. Or no, sorry, we're going to start Monique Vag. Our very own Monique Vag. Your driving idol growing up, who was it?
My driving idol? Oh, it went from all different kinds of guys, Obviously, John Campbell's up there. And,
yeah.
I looked up to anybody that drove for my dad. I always looked up to Mike Saftik, Bill Gale.
Yeah.
Even when I was real young, like Ron Henderson, and even guys like Sylvain Filion and stuff like that. Looked up to him a lot, and I still do. I want to try to get better every day, and I watch every driver of the races here. I watch their good habits and their bad habits.
Good guys to follow, that's for sure. Brad A, a guy that's always very active. He asks, is post 1 here at Mohawk Park, do you find it to be more of a negative than a positive?
Yeah, it's negative. Negative if you want to get the horse involved early, because if you can make the front off the rail, but you got to use them. You got to go as hard as you can, like from the time you get out of the turn till you get to the first turn. So I'd take it over the 9-hole, but it's a tough spot to get out, especially with a young trotter or a tricky gated horse. You really got to watch him the first few steps, because the gate kind of comes back and then jumps ahead. But for middle of the pack, it's not a bad spot.
I know last year you just turned 30, not all that long ago either. And you're going into your 13th season driving.
Yeah.
Already.
Time flies.
And you had immediate success. Who are the young guns out there do you think could be the next young gun to break into the circuit and do well?
Oh, there's quite a few, and to be honest with you, well, we're so busy racing here. You don't get much time to watch many of the smaller tracks right now. But I mean, I think there's a few young kids there that are doing pretty good. Austin Sorey's one of them, and Colin Kelly's doing pretty good, you know.
Yep.
And I don't know. I mean, they just got to keep their nose to the ground and watch and learn. You're gonna keep, like John Campbell. I remember him one time. Like, he was still learning when he was at the end of his career. So I mean, if you think you already know what you're doing now and you're no more learning, you're not going to get any better.
Yeah, well, that's well said. All right, we're going to talk now your drives, the handicapping part of it here tonight. You're a busy man, as I mentioned. 11 races. You've got 10 steers. If you look at this board here, Doug, and you see this lineup, what's a good night to you? What, like, if you come away with, you know, is 2 wins a good night? Are you expecting more with a lineup like this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'll start with 1 win for sure, but I mean, a lineup like that's a pretty nice looking lineup. I mean, I think there's definitely 2 or 3 horses that look like things work out that they can win. But I mean, it could be one of those nights where nothing works out. So you just got to try to stay positive.
Well, let's talk a little more in depth about a handful of these here tonight. We'll start in race number 3. You've got a horse going from the second tier, a boy named Suze. It's a horse that's maybe not been as consistently as good lately, but he's still every once in a while he'll pop up with a big effort. So tonight, if he popped up with a big effort, I would imagine you wouldn't be surprised in the least.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't surprise me. But like you said, he hasn't been that consistent. He raced real good a couple starts in a row, and then I think last week he just kind of threw a clunker in. So I mean, there's some decent horses in there, and they got him out of a climber. So I mean, it's tough to tell with him.
I know you had to opt, obviously, for the Brad Grant horse, and you're more than happy to do that, but one that you had to get off of, that you drove last week off the bench, Blake McIntosh. Better move on over for bettors that are maybe looking to play him tonight. I mean, he was second off the shelf. What were your thoughts of him last week?
Yeah, he raced good. It was his first start back, and I think he just qualified him the one time, so I'm not sure how tight he is. And sometimes their second start back, sometimes they're not as good as their first, but
okay.
You never know. He wasn't a big winner last year either, so... But he's definitely easy to get, or a nice horse to drive. He's fast off the car. He'll definitely get position tonight.
All right, we'll go a couple of races later into the 5th. Your backup board, Cliffhanger. Now, Cliffhanger's, he seems like a wicked fast horse that's still, you know, at times raw. Is he a quirky horse to drive?
He's a little tricky off the gate. If you, I mentioned it to Phil the last time he drove him, but if you can't really be right on the gate with him, and if you try to leave him the first couple steps, he could make a break. So. He's not all that handy, but I mean, he raced real good last week. He beat some nice horses and paced the big miles. So.
Yeah, well, you were on Military Secret, has been a nice acquisition for Wallace and Grant. Cliffhanger, you got to think he's got a pretty good shot in there tonight.
Yeah, he's got a good shot. Yeah, but you just got to watch him leaving, and I mean, he's as good as the rest of them there, I think. All
right, over to the 6th race, and here you've got the big fella, Easy Lover in Hanover. Now, here's a horse that just a couple of starts ago, he didn't quite seem like he was on top of his game, but now the last couple of weeks, he seems to be getting back into it. Last week he won. I know he was out of the preferred, but he just seems like he's back to his old self right now.
Yeah, I still don't think he's like at the top of his game.
Okay.
Like, he's at the top of the game. I'm not saying he can beat Sintra, but I think he can kind of go with him like this time of year. But last year things worked out. I mean, they had some confusion up in the front end, and I got to slide through there with him pretty early. But he actually. He's not the type of horse that likes to be through there that early. So obviously, if you watch this race here, he gets through
remember
late.
Remember that one?
Yeah, you get through late there, and that's what he likes to do. He usually comes on late, and he can beat some good horses.
That was sort of his coming out party.
Yeah, that was his
progress pace. Yeah,
that got him really rolling. I think he went 8 or 9 in a row around that time. So
yeah,
he's been a great horse for me driving the last few years. Even just around here.
Is he better in certain seasons?
Yeah, well, I think so. That's what a lot of people think he's or I do too. He's probably better in the winter.
Okay.
I think he goes just as fast in the winter as he can in the summertime. You know, he's 48, 49. He'll pace sometimes in the spring, and summertime he could pace the same speed. So
that race, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. That's a heck of a race. I mean, they've even tossed in some good mares. I know it's a tough ask with these mares in here, Kendall Sealster and so much more. But
they've both been really good. I mean, you can't throw them out. So
no, that's a really good group. That's
if he was at the top of his game, I would think for sure he's got a real good shot. But I think it's pretty wide open. You know, it's just there's Points North, another good horse.
Yeah, you even drove Points North. I mean, this has been a nice find for Osceola and Waxman and company. And I mean, logic says there's no Sintra. It should elevate him, but he's got easy lever Hanover, obviously, to worry about.
Yeah.
All right, let's go over to the 7th race next. And here you've got Sylph Hanover. And when she first came here, I know Louis was the one driving, and she looked powerful. She was one that I said on the air, I thought, in no time she's going to be up to the top class level, and she's going to be doing very well. But then she got sick, and since coming back, she's had some issues. You drove her twice. She's made breaks both times. What's going on with her?
Yeah, I'm on a roll with her.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying driver. I'm just, do you know, can you pinpoint what's happening?
Well, the first time I drove her, I mean, she was running in a bit. I actually thought it was my fault because it was muddy, and I knew I was kind of over the wheel in front of me, and I kind of jerked her a little bit hard in the right line, and she made a break on me that night. I thought that was my fault. But last week, I moved her, and she felt like she had a ton of pace.
Yeah.
as soon as I got her out again, she just kind of run in on me and got all steppy and made a break again. So.
Yeah,
I think the thing with her, I imagine Richard will have her a lot better than she's been. Or he wouldn't had her to race tonight. So I just think the thing to do with her is not have her out in a too wide path in the last turn. I mean, tonight she looks like she got a real good shot in that race.
Just coincidence that the last 3 starts where she's not been as effective, it's been an off track?
It could be. It could be. That could have something to do with it. I don't think she was as sound those last 3 starts as she was the first 3 starts. So hopefully if she's a good form tonight, she'll have a real good shot at beating them. Because she's good fast filly, and she's beat a lot better bunch than that before.
She's getting cheek rolls on here tonight, I see, so a bit of an adjustment there. We're going to fast forward. I know you've got a couple others. Hockey Hanover looks like he's going to have a pretty big shot. You're going to be driving Mongolian Hero as well. But I want to talk about a new one in the finale. It's a long shot. I know it's a tough ask for a horse that's just getting back to work, but Excalibur Sealster, one that your dad just took over the training of, you qualified him here on January 23rd. Looked like a solid effort. Probably got everything you wanted out of him in that prep.
Yeah, I didn't even know until after. That was actually the horse that kind of run up with the guys here in the qualifier and ended up causing a bit of an accident. But
yeah.
So I mean, I definitely going to be a little careful with him as first start driving him. I guess he qualified pretty good last week. But I mean, there's some good horses in there. They're going to go. They're not going to go too slow in that race tonight. Yeah,
well, he's last time he was racing late last year, non-winners of 2 condition. This is now a non-winners of 3, and a non-winners of 3 that's featuring some horses coming down from non-winners of 5. So yeah, it's pretty snug, and he's probably going to have to go 52 at first asking to be competitive, but he might need a start, right?
It's tough to say. I mean, I'm not going to say throw him out, but I mean, like you said, he's going to have to overcome a lot to win that race. First start back, but you never know. Anything can happen. That's why I race.
All right. Well, we like that. You know what? I got one quick question I want to wrap with. We tend to ask our guests that are on here, and hopefully you can answer this for us. But what would you change about the sport? Is there something out here right now that you'd love to change? And I'm not saying specifically here, just the sport in general.
Oh, I mean, it's hard to just put it down to one thing, but I think I heard Bob McNair say at one time that we should try running 4 races off fast, have an intermission, and 4 more races, something like that. I think that's a great idea. I remember hearing that a few years ago. I mean, maybe it won't work at all, but I mean, a lot of games are changing now. I think we got to try some with ours too.
Yeah, try things, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We can always go back to. I mean, I like that idea that they tried here with the distance race, and I really love that. But I just don't think we got enough horses competitive enough horses to run 12, 15 horses. We did that over in Sweden. I thought that was a great thing to do. There'd be 12, 15 horses in each race, and I mean, just made for different racing. You can't go too fast in the front early because I mean they're going to get tired, and it's a good betting race. Bettors like challenges, and they like a lot of horses. So. But like you said, it's tough to. We don't have that many horses around to run 15, 20, or 20 horses in a race. So.
All right. Well, good stuff. Appreciate you stopping by again.
No
good luck tonight, buddy.
Thanks a lot.
And keep up, everything you're doing because it's fun to watch and continued success this year. I'd love to see you stay here all the time because I don't want you working on your golf game at all, right? I don't need it to be any harder on me.
It needs a lot of work.
Anyway, all right. That's Doug McNair. He's got a busy night ahead, and he'll look to continue his torrid pace here to start 2020. We'll take a quick timeout when we come back. We've got Monique jumping in the seat. We'll talk this Saturday program.